I recently played Wukong and it was alright. Nothing bad, nothing great, but it was definitely not in that horrible state of being so average it's unmemorable. It was not a chore to play. And while that may sound like a backhanded compliment, I really did feel the drive to keep playing it. It's a game I wouldn't mind playing for 2 or 3 hour sessions easily. Playing that game, it seemed obvious to me that this echoes the game of the long gone middle market, a game made by competent people with a lesser budget and maybe a smaller team, but competent people nonetheless. It reminds me in some ways of No More Heroes. Despite being known as style and no substance, it did have a competent hit stun and satisfying sound effects. While not having depth, it was good at setting up the basics. While it doesn't equal it, Wukong does a decent job too. Enemies react to hits and the sound of the perfect dodge is satisfying. I'm a simp for a good perfect dodge. Where Wukong does like though, in comparison to No More Heroes, is in the story and settings department. While Wukong does have interesting designs, I'm not invested in the same way I am as the Suda venture. The Suda games were good at having that basic, cathartic feel, the Nintendo philosophy of, is it even fun to play? The hit stop was timed perfectly and the sound effects were crunchy and conveyed the violence well. It was really a gamer's game. Wukong, for all its success, doesn't quite get there, but most of the way. I'm not going to contemplate the idea of what it is to be a hero or the place of violence in a society the same way I would in a title like No More Heroes. The grotesque nature of that universe and its shock and value really helped into camouflaging the more nuanced aspect of the storyline. You really rooted for that character even though you didn't want him to succeed in his quest because his quest was stupid. You really just couldn't stop because of how grotesque and bizarre the entire adventure really was. That's why we always think of Suda as that weird video game guy. If you play No More Heroes, you really know you're playing a video game, and not just in terms of gameplay like Wukong, but also in terms of storyline and characters. Despite all that, Wukong still resides in my mind as a pleasant adventure that is worth a revisit, 2 or 3 to be more precise. It's that GameStop discount or bargain bin game that is gratifying to find. It needed to be in your collection, but not in priority. Now I have to give again another back-ended compliment to Wukong. It's probably going to be the game of the year, but mostly because the other games are not great competition. Well, it's at least going to be in our hearts, because we damn well know that the industry we're in is never going to let us have this. It will probably end up as a player's choice, the real game of the year. You damn well know this year's Game Award is going to be another level of dishonest when you know what came out this past year. You really have to push to tell me that something like fucking Dustborn is a thing.